Friends and family, thank you for joining me here at the American News Network. As you can see, we got Big W back here. This is the processing facility where we're going to make America healthy again. We're going directly from the farm, directly from what you can see here hanging up, and then immediately processing it. These boys are doing a fantastic job on both sides. We got Teddy Roosevelt himself, Big W on the scene. Look at the sirloins right there, just cut up. And here's some tenderloins that are ready to go. We got Dale packaging it immediately.
What do you think? How's this look?
Looks good.
Give me some critics.
It does look good. Some good marbling to it.
Open this up.
Exactly, it's looking excellent. Well, this is that quality stuff you're talking about.
Yep, like I said, you can beat our prices, but you can't beat our meat.
Well, and look at that, just how nice and thick it is.
Oh yeah.
And the quality, and in fact, this is that omega-3 stuff that lasts longer, that's healthier.
Correct. Omega-3, omega-6 balanced,
Yep.
completely antioxidated.
And that's what keeps it just stable. Huh?
Stable,
Yep.
correct. And this product will wet age. We don't have to hang it for aging. Aging in a cooler,
Yeah,
that when the omega-3s and 6s are unbalanced,
right,
are oxidated.
right. So this lasts longer, and it's even healthier, because describe even how the farmland's cleaner too.
Exactly.
So then you basically, this is cleaner meat than all the other meat too as well. So this is kind of what we need to make America healthy again.
Exactly. This is going to make America healthy again. And we're going to be doing it in pork, lamb, chicken, as well as beef.
And with beef, it's kosher and halal too, which is an interesting thing that we got going on.
Alrighty.
So there you go.
Okay.
Geez, Dale, you do that so well.
Okay.
So in case you ever wondered how it went from point A to Z, you're kind of seeing it. Of course, I'm not letting you see the gruesome pre-room where we got the cattle coming in. But other than that, they were raised in the field, completely organic. And I mean, we got all the chemicals out. So Kennedy, reach out to us if you want to, because the way in which we're getting the chemicals out, it's not just hemp, but we're using probiotics, we're using certain elements that knows how to chelate substances out, such as the Grazon, the Dianazon, the Atrazine. And I'll remind you that Roundup has a 60-year half-life. So when these organic people say that, oh, they've had their farm cleaned for 3 years and it's organic, that's actually a complete lie. There's still 57 years of chemical half-life on that field. So we have to apply these probiotics. And when we clean the soil naturally with what God's given us, in other words, we go old school, we have cleaner meat. You have cleaner meat, cleaner beef, cleaner chicken, cleaner dairy. Everything's clean, and it's all on quality control. And again, how do we get that quality control? It starts at the farm. So imagine the milk that you're drinking. Do you want that to be a toxified cow, or you want her to have clean food? And so to make America healthy again, we got to start using the feed that we've developed. And we're using natural substances and not chemicals. And we're also combating the chemicals with certain plants and certain probiotics. And they know how to chelate all the chemicals out. And we're, in the long run, we're left with absolutely clean soil. And then we've third-party tested this at all the universities, from Texas A&M University, OU, and up here in the Dakotas and Montana, and verified the fact that this is in fact the cleanest stuff that's in existence. And of course, to have Big W as oversight, and of course this is Big W Meats, and he also looks like Teddy Roosevelt. And it just makes everything great. But so this is, I'm not actually just talking about making America healthy again. We're right over the border. I've got a 5 square mile ranch. We're probably about 10 miles from my ranch, and the ranchers here in Montana, because we're at the state line, we got 100,000 acres here. And then Rich has got 10 square miles around the corner. But all of us ranchers, we've had enough of the chemicals. Why? because we want our children and our grandchildren to be healthy, and we've seen it, you know, in the olden days, like I said, the tombstones, we lived to be 90 to 100 years old, and today we have all these health problems, and the common denominator is our food and our air. And so when you have cleaner feed, when you get out the Roundup, when you get out the atrazine, and by the way, what does atrazine do? And we're finding that in our food, we're finding that in our plants. Well, it feminizes men. Have you noticed that a lot more men are more feminized lately? Tyrone B. Hayes in Berkeley University did an excellent study on atrazine and what it does to people in general. And when we have atrazine levels that are in our water, spill over into our food, for instance in Dallas, Texas, it's one of the first places I started to become an activist, because the drinking water for the city of Dallas is Lake Lewisville, and it's loaded full of Grazon, Dianazon, atrazine, Roundup, and a myriad of other things, including a ton of female birth control spilling out from the University of North Texas, Texas Women's University. And all of that stuff, the estrogen and the atrazine, it's not really helping the population of Texas out, because of, you know, it's hermaphroditing the fish, but it's also slightly feminizing the men, and that's coming purely through chemical additives. And what is the side result of this? Today, 77% of our young kids are either mentally inadequate or so out of shape that they can't serve in the United States military. Does this work for you? Because it doesn't work for me. We can't defend ourselves if only like 23% of the kids can fight. Because then out of those 23% of the kids, what makes you think that they're actually going to fight? And we can't even rebreed, so we've actually, in my opinion, let a lot of these people over, so that we can reproduce a population. And that's just a fact.
How big is it? Baby!
Not.
About what about no, what's on my house? That work?
I tell you what,
That work?
I got a picture of it.
Okay.
Go ahead and bone it out and steak it.
Okay.
Steak it and roast it, just like you would any other.
Okay.
Okay? Go ahead and bone it out. Okay? Right here.
So it's all about quality control on location, and so there's cleaner feed being used here. And so like I said, the ranch we're on right now, there's 100,000 acres. They don't let a chemical truck even on the site. And that's the quality control that it has. Very strict, no chemicals here in Montana, and we're going to be adopting all those same practices even in South Dakota. And again, the results is you have cleaner beef. Now, California, you're really in a situation like I said, so California meat, even the dairy cattle get second reclamation water. Now, I'm telling you, as somebody that fracks oil and gas wells, that's the last thing you need to let cattle drink, and then they're turning that water into milk and giving it to the consumer. So at one point, California had good cheese. That's not the case today. So they need to adopt our practices, because, you know, the results from all the chemical inundations that we're getting is cancer. And when we have clean meat like we're producing here in Montana, in North Dakota, South Dakota, the people are healthier. Also, if you check our water levels and the purity of our water, we have much cleaner water out here. But what we're doing here and what you're seeing us do is we're going from farm to table. And that's the way in which we do it right there. Farm to table, right?
Farm to table.
And this is the pioneer that makes it happen. So Big W, that's Big W from Big W Meats, Wes Austin, and he's a pioneer in this. So David Dennis, he had all these probiotics, and he figured out how to make a healthier crop using a vegan method and using all of this biological substrate. But it turns out it cleans the land. And when it cleans the land, what we're having is a higher percentage of protein even in the alfalfa and the hay. It also, we start, ruminant animals, by the way, so this is something people don't know. But it'll take them about 72 hours in one of those pouches of their stomach, because a cow has 4 stomachs. And they'll actually start to break down the food in one of their stomachs and almost kind of create an alcohol. Now, I'll tell you, you've heard of Kobe beef. Well, guess what? Kobe beef is the same type of practice where they're actually giving, beer and stuff like that to the cattle for the marbling. Well, here it's being done natural. And that natural method is something that America needs. This is the answer. So if you're not a vegetarian, even if you are a vegetarian, this is a healthier way to grow your crops, like with extra grow, but then use these similar type of methodologies like that Wes has at My Family Farms. It's my-family-farms.com. But he has this website, and we're going to try to teach you as much as we can as far as safe farming practices, safe ranching practices. Now, I'll show you the cattle outside, but then we're going directly from here to the Hard Rock Cafe Casino. We're going to go to Dave Barth, Oyster Bay. We're going to hit all the ones in Deadwood, because the ranchers that are there, we think it's nuts. For instance, 6 months ago when I was in Saloon 10, all of the United States Department of Agriculture inspectors were quitting because the government wanted their stamp for the meat, but then they're sending the meat to China to get packaged, where they're putting brine in it, and I'm sure disodium EDTA, saltpeter, but we can't trust China with our meat. So from here we got cattle outside, coming from the cleanest land, this farm. And so these are the farms around Deadwood, okay? And the farms around the community, because what we need to do is go directly from the farm to the processing facility following this methodology, and then don't send it to China, okay? I'm going to show you how ridiculous that is and why I know it's a war weapon that we can't do. Okay, so you mean to tell me that after we process this stuff, we need to then ship it to China? No, sir. No, ma'am. We just process that up right here. And look, it is ready right here processed. No China involvement at all. The only Chinese person that we got working on this is Dale, see?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Teddy Roosevelt.
And Teddy Roosevelt.
So this is the most clear example of from farm to table you're going to find, and that's the only way we're going to make America healthy again. We gotta feed the cattle. Yep, we gotta feed the cattle with what we produce here. We can't use Monsanto, and a common denominator is their GMO corn. So, also with brucellosis, sudden death syndrome in buffalo and cattle. Up here in Montana, if one cow has it, they destroy the whole herd. So heads up out there. Do you raise cattle in Montana in the area? Have you experienced this? Have you lost your entire herd? Well, contact us, because it turns out when we get rid of it and we put the probiotics on there and we clean up the land, cattle and the buffalo don't die. So because of that, we're talking to the Sioux Lakota Indian Nation, because we're going to help them restore the buffalo population, and it turns out the buffalo can't deal with the chemicals either, and so they're even more sensitive to stuff like that. Yes, sir.
I'm cutting up.
Oh, we are. Time for us to show our meat to the casino.
It's time to go get a freaking beer.
Well, there you go. Dale, thank you so much for packaging it for us.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it. Yeah, everybody's done a great job. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Muchas gracias.
Gracias, amigos.
Bien trabajo.
Thank you.